but the depth of its foundation. And I want to emphasize that this vision was co-created. And I repeat, it was co-created. It was not written in isolation, but it was shaped by an extensive consultation with the citizens of Telangana and with experts in chosen fields, by understanding their needs, their aspirations, and their hopes. And frankly, this resonated very, very deeply with me. Because at our own Mahindra Group, I have often said that vision is not the monopoly of just a leader or of a few people. And history has shown us that dreams which become reality are dreams which are shared, which are co-created. Because when people participate in designing their own future, the odds of success rise dramatically. And going further, when policy is shaped along with purpose, the impact is multiplied. And so I was so pleased to see that this vision, which has youth at its core, women as economic leaders, and sustainability as a non-negotiable foundation, well, that's a powerful embodiment of that purpose and that belief. So I want to compliment you, Chief Minister, and to your entire team for following this very inspiring process. And at Mahindra, frankly, we are very proud to observe this journey, not just to observe it, but actually to be participants in it. One example alone, our women-led battery manufacturing facility in Zahirabad is not just a factory. It is our very own statement of belief in the future that is being built right here. And on a personal note, I'm honored to serve as the chairman of the Young India Skills University, as was mentioned earlier. Now, I have to confess, when the Chief Minister first asked me, I was very hesitant, as you will recall. And I'll be honest, at this stage in my life, I'm very, very protective of my personal time. And I had planned really to focus all my energies on Mahindra University, which is right here in Hyderabad, and on other educational initiatives that I had already committed myself to. So I was preparing myself to very politely decline this invitation to the Chief Minister. And to be honest, after spending 4 decades in business, I consider myself a reasonably tough negotiator. But I met my match. The Chief Minister listened, he smiled, and then he presented a case which made it impossible for my conscience to walk away. You clearly are someone who doesn't take no for an answer. The Chief Minister, to be honest, saw that the Young India Skills University was not just about Telangana, but about India's future. That clarity of purpose turned the request into an offer that frankly I could not refuse. And since accepting this role, my conviction in this role has only deepened. And let me explain why. We are living through a digital tsunami. Artificial intelligence dominates global conversations, and it's often accompanied by fear. Fear of what AI and the future will bring. But I want to take a contrarian view. I believe that the more digital the world becomes, the more valuable the human touch will be. As AI inevitably absorbs the repetitive and the routine, value shifts to what machines cannot replace: the skill of the hand, the intuition of the craftsperson, the empathy of the caregiver, and the problem-solving grit of the technician. And just look around at many developed countries today and developed economies. Their challenge is not a lack of capital or technology. It is really the hollowing out of skilled real-world talent. They have a surplus of managers, but they have a shortage of makers. Nations are built not only on the cloud, but firmly on the ground. And happily, Telangana is choosing a different path. Through this Young India Skills University, we are asserting that blue collar is the new gold collar. We are preparing a workforce that is not threatened by AI, but which is going to be indispensable despite AI. And to help shape such a generation, one that can serve India and a world hungry for skill, well, that's a privilege that I rank amongst my highest. So thank you, Chief Minister, for making me part of that mission. And to the people of Telangana, I must tell you the Mahendra Group is not going to be a bystander. We will stand with you as you turn this distilled ambition of your people into prosperity. Thank you and dhanyavad mulu.
Thank you, sir. Your services to the people of Telangana, uh, as you have rightly observed initially, you were reluctant, but nevertheless, we have seen the Young India Skills University taking roots, shape, and it's blooming. And I'm sure that thousands of children will be benefited from the skills which they learn there. Now, there is a message by Sri Raghuram Rajan, former Governor of Reserve Bank of India, who is also part of the state's advisory council. Can you kindly play the message, please?
Rajan. Nam- Namaskar. My name is Raghuram Rajan, and I'm on the Advisory Council for the Telangana Rising Vision Plan 2047.
There's a problem with the video. Can you please check? Yeah.
Namaskar. My name is Raghuram Rajan, and I'm on the Advisory Council for the Telangana Rising Vision Plan 2047. It is indeed an ambitious plan, as it should be, and it touches every facet of the state and its citizens. It aims to be citizen-centric and comprehensive, touching those in core urban areas like Hyderabad, but also those in peri-urban areas as well as in rural areas. The focus on citizen capabilities like health, education, and skilling is particularly important, for once people have the capabilities, their energy is unleashed, and once unleashed, it is unstoppable. The fundamental economic requirement in India today is jobs, and the plan has a comprehensive vision of where they will come from and how to prepare people for them. A large urbanizing India will prepare all the jobs that we need. We just need to recognize they will not be in the places other countries have found them, and the vision document understands this. The vision document's emphasis on new technologies that will help make governance more transparent and inclusive, as well as more effective, is very important. For the scale of the plan's ambition requires scarce government personnel and resources to be deployed judiciously and its effects multiplied, and technology will help do this. Similarly, it will require citizens to know what is happening and to be able to react if course correction is needed, once again, a key effect of technology. So the challenges now are three: implementation, feedback, and course correction. Telangana knows where it's going based on a plan drawn up by consulting its citizens. I look forward to the journey. Jai Telangana, Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I'd request Dr. Duvuri Subbarao Garu, former Governor, Reserve Bank of India, to kindly address the gathering.
Chief Minister Sri Revant Reddy, Deputy Chief Minister Bhattivekramark Garu, all the dignitaries on the stage, and all my friends. I'm delighted to be here, part of the Telangana Rising celebrations in this future Bharat city. It's an occasion to set goals for the next 2 decades and position Telangana as the #1 state in the country, a very lofty ideal. I'm privileged to have served in the combined state of Andhra Pradesh much before all these people rose to political stardom. I have very fond memories. I worked in parts of Telangana. I was Collector Khammam when our Deputy Chief Minister must have been in school, and then I was Finance Secretary of the combined state. Although the state is administratively and politically divided, I feel emotionally at home in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And Hyderabad is my home now, Telangana is my state now, but I belong to the entire combined Andhra Pradesh. Over the last 10 years, Telangana has clocked remarkable progress. A state once known for feudalism, poverty, backwardness, ignorance, is today possibly the #1 state, clocking possibly the highest growth rate in the country over the last 10 years. Hyderabad, this charming, beautiful city, is a jewel. You know, all around the country, many of these people have traveled around the world, around the country. I'm very proud of this city. If there's one Indian city that is representative of all of India, it is Hyderabad. Cosmopolitan in outlook, blend of tradition and the best of traditions and values and modernity, safe for everyone, the best example of unity in diversity. You know, at one time when I was in the government, sir, in the late 90s, early 20s, we used to look for the overflow from Bangalore. So Bangalore is the icon of India, and Bangalore is saturated, so the overflow will come to Hyderabad. Today, Hyderabad is iconic. It's Hyderabad that people look up to as the first choice. So I'm very proud of what the government of Telangana has attempted. Congratulations to you, sir, and to your entire government. This document, I've not seen it, it's going to be released later in this event, is prepared by the government, working closely with the ISP, with Niti Aayog, I believe with wide-ranging consultations with the stakeholders. And I've not seen the document, but I'm privileged to be part of the advisory committee, and I look forward to studying the document and working with the government on implementing it over the next couple of years. But what I gather, what I heard the Chief Minister say yesterday, is that Viksit Telangana wants to be the #1 state in the country with $1 trillion GSDP by 2034 and $3 trillion by 2047, the centenary of the independence. Today, the GSDP of Telangana is about 16.7 trillion rupees, which roughly translates to $250 billion. We are at $250 billion today. We've got to get to $3 trillion in 22 years, which means multiply the GSDP by 15 times. And if you do simple arithmetic, it means that the state has to grow by about 8 to 9%, perhaps even faster. One trade of lead, that's a tough goal, a challenging goal, difficult, but not impossible. One trait of leadership is actually to set impossible goals, near impossible goals. So I want to congratulate the government for setting that goal. Yesterday, the Chief Minister mentioned that Telangana wants to replicate the Gyeongdong success. Gyeongdong is the best practice in accelerated growth rate. Not perfect, but probably the best practice. I'm sure Telangana will do even better. It's presumptuous on my part to lay out the agenda, because the agenda for getting 2047 Telangana is large, complex, and that's going to be in the document. It'll be presumptuous for me to second guess that at the moment. But I want to make a few points at this stage. The first stage, the state must build on its core competence. Hyderabad is already known for its IT, its pharma, its biotechnology, services. Where I live in KPHB, there is GCCs coming up every day. So I see them, I experience them. But Telangana must expand into manufacturing, agribusiness, and into a variety of sectors to create jobs. The second is infrastructure, physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and social infrastructure. Before we met, you came on the stage, we were talking to the IT Minister, Sridhar Babu Garu, and he was telling us about how Telangana government has aspirations of making Hyderabad the innovation center, AI innovation center, AI innovation center for the country. The country looks up to Hyderabad. So that's the second thing you must be focusing on. The third, ease of doing business. You know, we all talk about it, we all know about it. And I'm sure the Chief Minister and his team are experienced. But when we were in the government 20 years ago, when we went around like these people are going around these days, canvassing for investment, you know what entrepreneurs like Sri Anand Mahindra tell chief ministers and ministers? If you want to give us tax concessions, it's okay. If you want to give us utilities at low cost, that's okay. But what we want more than all this is law and order, rule of law, and no interference from your people. So ease of doing business is something that you must be concentrating on. Chief Minister, you said yesterday that you're not competing with the rest of the country, you're competing with globally. You know, actually, I think as the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka said yesterday, competing within the country is actually good. Healthy competition among states is good, and you're competing globally, setting yourself an aspiration. Primary education and primary health, I'm sure it's part of the agenda. Politicians don't normally, pardon me for saying this, I'm being a bit blunt, but politicians don't normally concentrate on education and health. The reason is, I'm not blaming anyone, but the reason is democratic compulsions force politicians to have a short-term horizon. Do things that will yield results in the short term. No, they tend to relegate long-term things, because they're things that will generate results much later, because they're not political priority. But they're very, very important, as you must have noticed. You know, Karl Johan Juncker, who was the former Chancellor of the EU, he said, we all know what is the right thing to do. He was a politician. No? He said, we know what's the right thing to do. We don't know how to get re-elected after that. I'm sure that Chief Minister Revanth Reddy and his team are going to find a new model and prove Karl Juncker wrong, that it is possible to do things and get re-elected. Okay? And then I saw in the papers, in the media, pure, rare, inclusive growth. I cannot emphasize this enough. You know, accelerating growth is important. Growth is necessary, but not sufficient. 8%, 9% growth, if it's just a number, if the benefits of growth are not widely shared, that growth cannot be sustained. So you must have inclusive growth, which means that the benefits of growth must go to the poorest person in Telangana, to the most farthest point in Telangana. I'm sure the vision document is going to concentrate on that. And skills, of course, it will be presumptuous on my part to talk about skills when Mr. Anand Mahindra is here, but skilling is very important. You know, skilling is a difficult thing to do because it will not be done by the private sector. The government will not do it, is incapable of doing it. So you need public-private partnership, which we're seeing on the stage. Mr. Mahindra sitting next to the Chief Minister, that's exactly the partnership we require for skilling. And, you know, I want to tell a story. When I was appointed governor in 2008, 17 years ago, I was Finance Secretary to Government of India at that time. I went to call on the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, just to thank him for choosing me to go to RBI. one-on-one meeting. I went across to his office, but there were just two of us. And I told him, sir, thank you for appointing me as governor. We talked about the macroeconomic issues at that time. We talked about RBI. We talked about the government. We talked about the comparison between living in Mumbai and living in Delhi. And after about 10 minutes into this conversation, I asked Dr. Manmohan Singh, sir, do you have any advice to give me? A very humble person. He said, what advice do I give you, Subbaro? You've been in the IAS, you've seen the country, you've worked in the districts, you've seen the state government, you've seen the central government. What advice do I give you? And after another couple of minutes, I took leave of him and I was walking away. And gracious man as he was, he walked around from his table and escorted me to the door. And at the doorstop, he put his hand on my shoulder. Subba, I thought I'll give you one advice. That one advice I want to give you is that no matter what you're doing, remember that whatever you're doing, there's people behind you. The RBI is a great institution. But in the RBI, there's a risk that you'll get lost in numbers, in interest rate, money supply, inflation, exchange rate, but you will forget that there are real people behind that. Now, I was in the process of shifting from Delhi to Mumbai. About 30 seconds after I left the PM's office, that advice went out of my head. But as I started working in the RBI, that the purport of the Prime Minister's advice struck me. Because the primary responsibility of the Reserve Bank is to maintain price stability, low and steady inflation. Inflation is a regressive tax. Growing up in a low middle class family, I saw my parents struggle to put all of us through, and all of you saw this. So what the Prime Minister was telling me really is that whatever you're doing, remember the last people, because inflation hurts poor people more than it hurts well-off people. This shirt, if it cost 2,000 rupees last month, and if I go to buy this today, it costs 2,200 rupees, I wouldn't even notice it. But poor people, if the bus ticket goes up from 22 to 24 rupees, if the price of rice goes from 40 to 44 rupees, they notice that. So one thing as we implement the Telangana Rising document is to remember the people of Telangana. The last thing, I've spoken for longer than my time, but Chief Minister, sir, you said yesterday and you said today that Telangana is unstoppable. I also want to say that Telangana is unbeatable, okay? And John F. Kennedy said that, he gave a goal, moonshot goal, that we must get onto the moon, not because it is easy, but because it's difficult. So the Telangana Rising document, implementing that is not because it's easy, but it's going to be difficult. And 10 years from now, somewhere in the world, 10 years from now, sir, somewhere in the world, just like you said yesterday, Gyeongdong model, 10 years from now, somewhere in the world, somebody will say, we want to follow the Telangana model. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As a person who have walked at least part of my path in your footsteps, I am also an IIT Kanpur alumni like you, and then joined the civil services, and I've been finance secretary, blessed to be finance secretary, sir. It was music to my ears, what you have told, sir. Now, I would request Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, Sri Mallu Bhatti Vikramarka Garu, to kindly address the gathering.
శ్రీ రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారు, Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana, Sri Suman Berry garu, Vice Chairperson Niti Ayog, and all the Honorable Cabinet Ministers, legislators, chairmen, and advisors of the government, and Sri Ananda Mahendra garu, Sri Duvori Subbarao garu, Dr. Raghuram Rajan garu, and Sri K. Ramakrishna Rao garu, Chief Secretary, Professor Karthik Muralidharan garu, and Sri Chiranjeevi garu, Megastar, Shantan Narayan garu, Chairman CEO Adobe, and all the participants of today's evening Telangana Rising 2047 Vision Document Release Function. Andarki Namaskaram. After a day and a half of the summit, I hope you saw the natural hospitality that Telangana is known for it. Hospitality is indeed our philosophy. Before I go further, I want to express heartfelt gratitude for the truly participative spirit in which the Telangana Rising 2047 vision was crafted. This was not the work of a few minds behind closed doors. It was a collective effort shaped by the wisdom and aspirations of a vast and diverse set of contributors. Honorable ministers brought clarity of purpose, civil servants brought insight from the ground, thought leaders and academics lent intellectual depth, and most importantly, lakhs of citizens across Telangana and the country, farmers, youth, entrepreneurs, and everyday workers shared their hopes and ideas for our future. I also want to place on record my gratitude to Dr. Suman Berry here as the VC of Niti Ayog, who ensured that this document was brought to final conclusion, along with the CEO, other officials from Niti Ayog, as well as the team from ISB. Thank you, Dean Madan Pillutla and your team that has worked tirelessly to refine the detailed vision laid out in this document. I also wanted to assure Subbarao garu the one or two words, two lines what he has expressed by saying growth has to be there, but it has to be inclusive growth. Of course, sir, this government's vision is, that's the main crux of our vision. Yes, definitely you will be seeing that in the document once after our Honorable Chief Minister releasing the document after the, after a few minutes. To all of you, thank you. This document belongs to all of us. I want to make one more important acknowledgement before I go further. At global summits, leaders are often accompanied by a Sherpa, not a literal guide, but a steady aspiration that helps navigate ambition and complexity. If this summit had a Sherpa, It was the spirit of resolve born from a historic decision, the one that gave Telangana its rightful identity. Today, on the birthday of Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji, I take a moment, with your permission, since I know this is non-political forum, but to acknowledge the quiet power of that choice. Her courage did not just shape our past, it continues to guide the aspirations we are crafting today. Now, into the event itself, I have been thinking about the word summit. I realize there are actually two kinds of summits. The first kind is exactly what it sounds like. It's a meeting where you take the contributions, you add the speeches, and you calculate the total. It is simple arithmetic. It is a kind where you can quite literally sum it. But then there is a second kind, the kind we experience today. There is a summit where you cannot sum it. Because what was created in all these halls is a greater than the sum of its parts, where every panel did not just add ideas, it multiplied possibilities, where the synergy is so genuine and unscripted that it defies simple math. This event was the second kind. We cannot just sum it up because the impact is infinite. Why? Because the thirst was real. Telangana has long had ambition, but what is lacked was a single, structured, forward looking framework. And that matched the scale of our aspirations. This time, we did not just build a document, we built a platform. And across sessions, from capital pathways to agri value chains, frontier tech forest economies, I saw people not just speaking, but committing. As someone who chaired two sessions on productivity and power, let me offer a brief reflection. In the power session, I saw a state eager to move from being an energy consumer to an energy creator with green hydrogen, distributed renewables, and smart grids lighting the path. In the productivity discussion, I saw consensus that India's next leap will not come from more effort alone, but from smarter systems, digital public infrastructure, empowered workers, and output linked innovation. We came to a memorable conclusion: capital plus innovation is equal to productivity. There, these are not abstract themes, they are Telangana's real advantage. And none of this came from a single department or one expert panel. The vision document itself is a product of collective design. Months of months of field visits, public consultations, and inputs from those on the ground that includes experts seated on the dais and others present in this ground. Which is why I say again, this is not a static document, it will evolve. And we are committed to letting it evolve with new data, new partnerships, and new wisdom. We don't fear feedback, we welcome it. One more thought I must leave with you. For every young person in Telangana who attended these sessions, I hope you take your chance to build something so valuable that future generations walk on your path quite literally. Let me end by saying to our guests, thank you for your solidarity and your confidence. To my colleagues in government, Thank you for showing what coordination can truly look like. And to every participant, a speaker, an organizer, thank you for ensuring that we who organize this summit telling into more than the sum of its parts in the document. And also, I just wanted to make it very clear. Our Chief Minister, Sri Revanth Reddy Garu, and the entire cabinet is having only one goal, how to achieve the target what we kept, the 2047 trillion dollar, $3 trillion economy, for which tirelessly the entire cabinet under the leadership of Sri Revanth Reddy Garu is willing to work. And when we announced that, people thought it is impossible. But we wanted to make it very clear. Impossible things, we wanted to make it possible. That is what Telangana. We will do that. Telangana is having all kinds of natural resources, human resources, and talented technical human resources. The only one thing which is required is a simple goal and a commitment and a dream of achieving 2047 $3 economy, which the entire government of us under the leadership of Sri Revanth Reddy Garu and the entire cabinet is having the dream. We will definitely achieve it. We will show to the whole world. Thank you very much, and Jai Telangana and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Garu. Now I'd request my colleague Jayesh to kindly introduce two sons of soil who have gone and achieved and are now heading world's famous companies. Jayesh?
Thank you very much, sir. As Chief Secretary pointed out, there are four important poster boys of Hyderabad: Mr. Ajay Banga, Mr. Satya Nadella, Mr. Shantanu Narayan, and Mr. Prem Vatsa. And from 1st January 2026, there will be a fifth one, Mr. Shailesh Jejurkar, who will become the President and CEO of Procter & Gamble. So all these poster boys of Hyderabad still have very high regard for the state, for the city, for Honorable Chief Minister personally. And at our request, two of them have decided to come live and interact briefly with us, share their thoughts. So can the setup team please put Mr. Shantanu Narayan and Mr. Prem Vatsa. Hey, so hello Prem. Hello Prem. Hello Prem. Hello Shantanu. Can you hear both? Can you hear? Hello Shantanu. Hi Prem. Can you hear me? Is our audio good? Just give us a wave. Great. So thank you very much. Shantanu, I know that it is 4:30 a.m. for you. So thanks for making this effort. I do hope that you will, by what we tell you about our state, this will give you lots of energy. You will be able to manage your rest of the day. Thank you, Prem, for joining us. So Prem, we will start with you. You have seen the vision document, the executive summary of it. You today lead one of the biggest private investment firms, Fairfax. How optimistic are you about a state succeeding in all these promises, and what should companies like you do to support our vision further? Prem, a few words from you.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction. And Honorable Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, and my friends at that conference, good evening. I am very honored to join you with my good friend Shantanu, who's the CEO of Adobe and has an outstanding track record at Adobe. You introduced us from the Hyderabad Public School. We have Shantanu, we have Nadia, Satya Nadella, and Ajay Banga, who I know. And Shantanu, you probably know a lot more people from the Hyderabad Public School. We're very honored to join you. And I grew up in Hyderabad and in the Hyderabad Public School. My dad was the principal of the Hyderabad Public School. And I spent 3 years there, and they were the best years of my life. And because of that, I got an introduction to IIT Madras, Chennai, and I went there, and that was a terrific experience to me. I came to Canada in 1972 and learned a lot about business. I didn't know anything about business, learned a lot about business and investing. And 40 years ago, we began Fairfax Financial, 40 years ago. Um, I recognize the sea change that took place when Mr. Modi got elected in 2014 with a business-friendly philosophy, and we recognize that, and I've been investing in India for the last 35 years. I have said publicly that India is the greatest place, best country in the world to invest in, best country to invest in for the long term, for the decades to come. And we've invested 10 billion in India, and we plan to double that. And I hope, Chief Minister, we were able to invest in Telangana, the state that I came from. And so it's really inspiring to hear about Telangana rising, 3 trillion economy, 10% of GDP in 2047. Very, very inspirational. You wanted to have an investment magnet. You want to attract foreign investment, empower the people, empower the youth, the women, the farmers. Very, very inspirational. I have witnessed in North America, like Shantanu and the others, the power of free enterprise, of business and capitalism. I'm a function of that. Shantanu is a beneficiary of that. There's no limit to economic growth, as many of you have said, in Telangana, if you follow those principles. Very simply, I was in Dubai for our 40th business anniversary of Fairfax Financial. And what a magnificent job they've done in the last 25 years, and I'm sure Telangana will do even better. But the principle that they've had is what is good for the merchant is good for Dubai. What is good for the merchant, what is good for business, is good for Telangana. And that's what you're doing. So the next 22 years, 2047, I pray that Telangana, under your leadership, Honorable Chief Minister, will do exceptionally well, and will be an inspiration to everyone in India and also the world. So God bless you and the people of Telangana. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prem. That was very, very optimistic. Look forward to seeing you sometimes in Hyderabad. Over to you now, Shantanu. You also have a long, long association with Hyderabad. Incidentally, your parents still live here. So please share your thoughts. You are also a member of our advisory council constituted to help us draft the vision document and then in its implementation. So please tell us about your thoughts on this whole exercise of how we have created the vision and how do you see us succeeding it perfectly in this.
Thank you, Jayesh, and namaskaram. Let me first start off by thanking the Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Revant Reddy Garu, as well as the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, Shri Bhatti Vikram Mallu Garu, for this opportunity to take part in this historic occasion for the launch of the visionary document Telangana Rising 2047. I think the vision aligns very seamlessly with Prime Minister Modi's ambitious goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047, which is a future where India emerges as a global leader in innovation, sustainability, and development. As India's youngest state, Telangana has already proved itself as a trailblazer in governance, in technology, and as numerous folks have mentioned inclusive growth. I love this aspiration to become a 3 trillion economy by 2047 and contributing 10% to India's GDP. It's not just a bold vision, but I think it's a very achievable vision. And I think the vision will be powered by the people of Telangana, whose aspirations for better education, healthcare, clean environments, and opportunities have shaped this roadmap. I also think that this emphasis on empowering youth, women, and farmers is a testament to the state's commitment to inclusive development. As chair of Adobe, I'm proud to represent a company that shares this commitment to innovation and empowerment. We are trying to change the world through digital experiences at Adobe, and over a third of Adobe's global research and development is happening in India. So we know that Indians today are creating the innovation that is going to democratize creativity and individuals to thrive in this digital economy. I'm particularly proud of the visions document that's focusing on foundational enablers, tech and innovation, efficient financing, good governance. For example, I think Telangana's efforts to harness the transformative power of technology and establish the Telangana Artificial Intelligence Innovation Hub is a bold step towards positioning the state among the top AI globes globally. And I think that'll attract, as my friend Prem said, not just global investments, but will create high quality jobs and foster entrepreneurship. To me, though, I'm particularly moved by the vision's document emphasis on empowering youth through education and future-ready skills. And I'm committed to partnering with Telangana to provide artificial intelligence and digital literacy programs that will equip the youth with the tools that they need to excel in all these new emerging sectors like AI, cybersecurity, as well as advanced manufacturing. And I think together, we can ensure that the next generation is prepared to lead in this rapidly evolving global economy. I want to acknowledge the remarkable progress that's already been made under the leadership of Chief Minister Reddy over the past 2 years. I think initiatives like free bus rides for women, the LPG refill subsidiaries, the loan waivers for farmers, they're not just policies, but these are lifelines that will empower communities and drive equitable growth. And now for something personal, much like Prem said. As someone who still considers himself a Hyderabadi, who grew up in Hyderabad, and is a product of Hyderabad Public School, where Prem's father was the principal as well as Osmania, I have witnessed firsthand the transformation of this city and state. And the career prospects for people from Telangana has come such a long way. The Telangana diaspora in the United States, in fact, is a testament to the talent and potential of this region. And I am personally committed to strengthening the ties between the diaspora and the government of Telangana. In closing, I want to both compliment, applaud the Chief Minister's push to create this vision for Telangana and become a global leader in innovation, sustainability, and development. And I'm convinced that together we can create a future where technology uplifts individuals, businesses, and society as a whole. So thank you for inviting me. Jai Telangana, Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Shantanu. Thank you, Prem. And thanks for sharing your thoughts. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I would request Professor Karthik Muralidharan, the Tata Chancellor, Professor of Economics at the University of California, to kindly address us. Professor Muralidharan has been working with several states in India through his center called Center for Effective Governance of Indian States. This is a very unique and innovative partnership which we are having with this center, of which he is the scientific director. A number of reform programs in India were initiated by this center. Many of them owe their genesis to Telangana because we have been working with them the longest. So now, Professor Muralidharan, please.
గౌరవ సభకు నమస్కారము. I am Honorable Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, dignitaries on the dais. I'm really delighted and honored to be here today. I'm a Tamilian by birth. I grew up in Gujarat, but Telangana and Andhra Pradesh have been my karma bhumi for the last 20 years. I'm especially honored to see that the Chief Secretary, Sri Ramakrishna Rao Garu, he was Commissioner School Education in 2004 when I first came to the state. And that is where my journey of work in the state. There is no state in India I know better than Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, whether it's working in education, in welfare over the years. So that is the first connection to Telangana. Second, when this book came out, Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister were the first Chief Ministers I got to present the book to, and that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. We had a wonderful 2-hour discussion on a whole range of governance issues. And last, like Ramakrishna Rao Garu mentioned, the non-profit I founded, the Center for Effective Governance of Indian States. Our first state partnership was in Telangana. So in every way, Telangana has been the core of where a lot of my work has evolved. So I want to just make 2 remarks. The first is I want to highlight the centrality of state-led actions for national development. Almost every aspect of governance that touches the lives of citizens are actually controlled by state governments. Education, health, land, labor, safety, environment. So government of India can provide guidelines and money, but the actual delivery is all with state governments. So if you look at the variation in outcomes across Indian states, that tells you how much state level leadership matters. Okay, so it is just wonderful to see this energy and this drive to think about a vision for Telangana and therefore set a vision for India itself. And I was particularly pleased to see that the benchmarks are global, because it is not enough to compete just with other states, but by setting global benchmarks, you are both elevating Telangana and elevating all of India. So there are already, like Ramakrishna Garu mentioned, so many examples of initiatives in Telangana that have now been replicated across the country. I just want to mention one, which I played a small part in. And this is what is called the annual KPI survey, where Telangana has become the first state to have annual district level outcomes on every human development indicator, on education, on nutrition, so that we know that we are making progress towards the goals and not just setting goals and not knowing are we making progress. So that data is foundational, and this is now something that is being replicated across many states. So the second thing I want to say is that it is wonderful to set great goals, but getting there requires building more effective public systems. So like we say, you know, a famous politician said, you campaign in poetry, but govern in prose. You aim for the stars, but you walk on the ground. So, which means to get there, we need to build better public systems every single day. And one quote I want to highlight, which is there in the last page of my book, which is the best-selling book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It says, whether both successes and failures set grand goals. The difference between success and failure is the systems you build to get to the goals. So he says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, which means that the goal setting exercise is wonderful, but it has to be accompanied by the plodding hard work of building better public systems. And that basically means really revamping many aspects of our governance systems, which frankly haven't changed since the 1950s. So in many ways, unless you really improve governance in every single way, you will not be able to deliver those goals. So that means data and data systems and data-driven governance. It means paying attention to public sector human resource management. So the people in the government, whether the recruiting, the training, the skilling, the performance measurement and management, these are going to be the core elements of delivering on this vision. And finally, public finances, right? The scarcest thing the government has is money. Debt is a serious problem. So having certain principles of saying that money will be spent on the basis of both equity and efficiency. So how do you spend your scarce public money well is going to be the most important determinant of whether you are able to deliver this vision and catalyze industry, catalyze academia, catalyze society. So these are all areas that me and my team at CGIS are committed to supporting the state of Telangana on, and we are just grateful to have the opportunity to be part of this journey. So Jai Telangana, Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor. Uh, the book is looks like a big tome, but then it's a very easy read because a lot of examples from the states are also there. So I request that, all of you are interested, you can kindly go through it. Now I'd request Professor Arvind Subramaniam, former Chief Economic Advisor to Government of India, to kindly address us. Arvind Subramaniam ji, as needs no introduction, is one of the most distinguished economists of the world, with a deep understanding of various issues and policies of China, not only a theoretical understanding, academic understanding, but also he was in the engine room because he was the chief economic advisor when the GST reforms were introduced in the country. And after that also he has been working with number of states within the country. Now I request Professor Subramaniam to kindly address us.
Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, dignitaries on the dais, and participants in this amazing event, the Telangana Rising Summit. I'm delighted and honored to be here in this amazing venue, which is going to be the Bharat Future City. I can't wait to see, I hope I'll be alive to see that vision. It promises to be spectacular. I'm also honored to be honored to be part of the CM's Council and hope to help assist in the transformation of the Telangana economy. Um, as Karthik said, it's clear that India's future resides more and more in the states because it's the states that control the levers that are going to determine the fate of India's 1.4 billion citizens. So I've just written a book with Devesh Kapoor, and I want to highlight one striking statistic that we found in that book. We all say, why can't India be as dynamic and grow as rapidly as China? But it turns out that one third of India has grown as fast as China and for as long. Just think about that. So we don't have to look elsewhere. We just have to look within. And one of those states happens to be Telangana. So, if that is the case, the numbers that Dr. Subbarao put out about what the GDP aspiration you have going forward, it doesn't seem that difficult because it seems like you already accomplished that in the last three decades. So it's just a matter of, replicating that over time. Now, Telangana, of course, is on the not just the Indian map but the global map as the cradle of India's IT revolution. But that's the past. I think when you look at the Telangana vision document under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister, it is embarking on the next structural transformation. How do you go from this very dynamic IT-based economy to something that both harnesses the power of the new technologies without neglecting the daily lives of all the citizens in the state? So it's this combination of technology, which is people-centered, human-centered, improving human livelihoods. I think that's at the core of this vision document, which I would commend to everyone going forward. I have, I think, said very often that the most important dynamic in India that's going to propel India going forward is competitive federalism, competition between the states, and especially if every state is competing, as the Honorable Chief Minister has said, not just with other Indian states, but internationally as well, this competition dynamic is going to be very, very important. So Telangana is going to be not just a magnet that attracts investment, it's also going to be a model for everyone else, other states, to kind of emulate. So competitive federalism with Telangana in the lead is one desirable dynamic. But I think the other dynamic that is going to be very important in India is not just competitive federalism, but competitive sub-federalism. That not just states competing with each other, but cities competing with each other. And in this regard, I think Hyderabad is turning out to be another model and a magnet. For example, NCR, with all its air quality problems, is forcing exit to other parts of the world. Bengaluru, the IT capital, with its congestion and urban challenges, is again forcing investors to look away, and that's the sense in which Hyderabad can be a magnet and a model going forward. So Telangana and Hyderabad can be the cradles of competitive federalism and competitive sub-federalism. Having said all this, I also want to be a little bit more realistic and offer some gentle advice. I think investor summits are like elections in a democracy. Heady, wonderful, everyone engaged, etc., etc. But we know in a country like India and in democracies like India, all the accountability, the hard work, and the implementation is done between elections, is done between investor summits. So while it's very impressive that you have 5 lakh crores in commitments already, the proof of the pudding is going to be 5 years from now, how much of those 5 lakh crores actually translated into real investment. So that's the metric by which we must judge Telangana's performance going forward. And in this regard, some of Dr. Subbarao's comments about, the ease of doing business, rule of law, creating a level playing field for all investors, not just some investors, big investors, is going to be very, very important. Now, I want to end, just make one last point in this. It's actually a series of points. When I used to be chief economic advisor, I used to have this ongoing debate with my boss, the late wonderful Arun Jaitley. He used to tell me, Arvind, politics is the art of the possible. And I would say, no, no, Minister, politics is the art of expanding the possibilities of the possible. That's what I think good politics is. Now, let me strike a slightly sobering note. If you look around in the last 5 years, I mean, there is a disenchantment with Indian politics, or at least some parts of it, in the following sense. That is that you see more and more this rabidi culture that's crept in, and cash transfers, etc., have taken powerful hold on the political imagination. Now, I'm not against cash transfers. I'm not against welfareism. I think they're all very important. But I think there is a sense in which this disenchantment has happened because citizens want cash transfers in part because they feel they're not going to get much else from the state. So they said, let's get the cash transfers now because we don't know what governments will deliver later on. But there's a flip side to that. Governments themselves do more and more welfareism almost because they have accepted that they will not be able to deliver all the other things that matter more. So we are in this slightly unholy alliance between citizens and the state where it's all about cash transfers to the neglect possibly of the other things that matter and that are contained in the vision statement that you have outlined. Um, so I think what India needs is, as someone rightly said, and what is exciting about this summit and your leadership is the new Telangana model. What is the new Telangana model? I think it's very important to remember that the Telangana model has to have as its core, which it does, the retaining of the idea of India as a pluralist, inclusive, non-majoritarian, non-exclusionary place. That idea of India cannot be abandoned, cannot be abdicated. That is the foundation, or should be the foundation, of the Telangana model. But then over and above that, what has to happen is the kind of political imagination that's been displayed in the Telangana Vision document, and converting that political imagination into a new reality is what has to be the Telangana model. And really, we've just written a book. In some ways, what we lament in the book is that the Indian political imagination has become stunted and stale. And what is really exciting about this, Honorable Minister, to be honest with you, and what makes me excited about working with Telangana is this new political imagination which retains the idea of India, pluralist, non-majoritarian, inclusive, everyone, plus this new imagination where you combine technology and harness it for the good of the people. So good economics should be good politics. Uh, Good social policy should be good politics. And that hopefully will be the new Telangana model.
Thank you, sir. Uh, as usual, Arvind sir, Professor Arvind sir has always brings us, while acknowledging the dynamism, the vision of our honorable CMs is also put some caution marks along the road. Now, I would request the video message by Mr. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of UK, to be played, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honored Chief Minister, distinguished leaders, and to the people of Telangana, it's a real privilege to join you today as you celebrate 10 remarkable years since the formation of Telangana, a decade that has transformed not only this state, but the story of modern India itself. In 2014, Telangana began a journey filled with high expectations and even higher aspirations. Today, reflecting on the transformation underway in Hyderabad and throughout the state, the story is not only one of progress, but one of enormous promise for the future. The record speaks for itself. As highlighted in your own growth analysis, the state's GSDP has nearly tripled in a decade. Your per capita income has become one of the highest in the whole of the country. But beyond the statistics lies something far more profound. A region once seen as struggling has reimagined itself as a powerhouse of technology, agriculture, and inclusive growth. You have become, in many ways, a model for other parts of the world. As Telangana marks this milestone year, it does so at a moment when India as a whole is shaping its future, working to build a fully developed and globally leading India by the time the nation marks its centenary of independence in 2047. In many respects, Telangana's own journey of the past decade exemplifies the spirit and momentum of India as a whole, a people with a commitment to prosperity, human development, and also the power of innovation. Your vision, Rising Telangana 2047, aligns powerfully with India's national mission, a vision to become a $1 trillion economy by 2034 and a $3 trillion economy by 2047, a vision to expand education, strengthen health systems, modernize infrastructure, and to unlock opportunity for every citizen. In the years I spent as Prime Minister and beyond, I've always believed that leadership is not only about solving today's problems, it's about preparing your nation for tomorrow's possibilities. And what Telangana is doing today is precisely that, building the foundations of long-term, inclusive, technology-driven growth. In this journey, it's been a privilege for my institute to support governments around the world undergoing similar transformations, from digital governance to economic reform, and from public service delivery to investment acceleration. We have worked with leaders across Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, helping them craft strategies for rapid and sustainable development. And our mission as an institute has always been clear: to partner with those governments that are determined to deliver for their people, to modernize their institutions, and to turn aspiration into achievement. And Telangana's story, this story of resilience, reform, and rising ambition, is exactly the kind of story we champion globally. During my time as Prime Minister, the United Kingdom faced moments demanding bold action, improving our public services, modernizing our education system, embracing the beginnings of the technology revolution, and placing innovation at the center of national progress. What I learned then is what Telangana demonstrates today, that with clarity of vision, strong leadership, and a commitment to inclusion, extraordinary transformation is possible. And as India advances towards its goal of Viksit Bharat 2047, it is states like Telangana that will help to propel the nation forward. Telangana's achievements, therefore, are not just local successes. They're contributions to India's wider journey of becoming one of the world's great democratic, economic, and technological powers. So as Telangana embarks on its next decade, expanding its metro, modernizing irrigation, supporting women's empowerment, reforming governance to be more transparent and citizen-centered, and welcoming global investment, it does so from a position of immense strength. As you bring your summit to a close, let me end my remarks in the hope that I may visit you in person very soon, and by offering all the people of Telangana my warmest good wishes for continued progress and a future shaped by the confidence and ambition that define this remarkable state. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. ఇప్పుడు మెగాస్టార్, ఎవరికీ పరిచయం చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేనటువంటి శ్రీ చిరంజీవి గారిని సభను ఉద్దేశించి ప్రశంసించవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి శ్రీ రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారికి, గౌరవ ఉప ముఖ్యమంత్రి మిత్రులు, ఆత్మీయులు బట్టి విక్రమార్క గారికి, ఇతర దిగ్గజాలకి, ఆహ్వానితులకు, ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు. తెలుగులో మాట్లాడడం కొంచెం చేంజ్ ఉంది కదా మీ చెవులకి. సో లెట్ మీ హ్యావ్ ది ప్రివిలేజ్ టాకింగ్ అవర్ మదర్ టంగ్. ఇక్కడ మీ అందరికీ అనిపించవచ్చు, ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ఆహ్వానితుల్లో చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళు ఒక్కొక్క రంగానికి సంబంధించిన వాళ్ళు, ఫైనాన్స్ రంగానికి సంబంధించిన వాళ్ళు, అలాగే మాజీ గవర్నర్ ఆర్బీఐ సుబ్బారావు గారు, అలాగే ఇతర ఫైనాన్స్ వ్యక్తులు, అలాగే ఆటోమొబైల్ దిగ్గజం మహేందర్ గారు, ఇంతమంది ఉండగా వీళ్ళల్లో చిరంజీవి ఏమిటి సినిమావాడు అనే భావం మీకు ఉండొచ్చు. మీకు కదా, నాకే ఉంది అది. నేను ఎంతో ఇక్కడ ఫిట్ అవుతాను అని నాకే అనిపించచ్చు. కానీ నా మీద ఎంతో గౌరవంతో ఒక సోదరుడుగా మన ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు చిరంజీవి రావాలి అని నిన్న మన భట్టి విక్రమార్క గారిని, అలాగే ఐటీ అండ్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ మినిస్టర్ శ్రీ శ్రీధర్ గారిని నా దగ్గరికి పంపించారు. సరిగ్గా వాళ్ళు వచ్చే సమయానికి ఏ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్నాను తెలుసా అండి? ఎవరో అమ్మాయితో డ్యాన్స్ వేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. చాలా ఇబ్బంది అనిపించింది అన్నపూర్ణ స్టూడియోలో. సో ఆ సమయంలో వాళ్ళిద్దరు కూర్చోబెట్టి షూటింగ్ ఆపేయంట్రా అని చెప్పి వారి ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత అంత ఆప్యాయంగా నన్ను ఆహ్వానిస్తుంటే, ఇంత గొప్ప సభకి, ఇలాంటి ఒక గొప్ప గ్లోబల్ సమ్మిట్కి, తెలంగాణ రైజింగ్ అంటూ ఒక గొప్ప ఇనిషియేషన్కి 2047 ఇది ఎట్లా ఉండాలి అనే ఆ ఊహ తన బ్రెయిన్ చైల్డ్ అయినటువంటి మన ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు ఆహ్వానిస్తే అది చాలా ప్రివిలేజ్డ్గా ఫీల్ అయ్యాను, ఎంతో గౌరవంగా ఫీల్ అయ్యాను, ఎంతో ఆనందంగా ఉన్నాను. మీ అందరితో పాటు ఈరోజు ఇక్కడ నేను పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయడం అనేది నాకు దక్కిన గొప్ప అవకాశం, గొప్ప అదృష్టంగా నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. అయితే ఇక్కడ కేవలం చిరంజీవికి మాత్రమే ఇచ్చారు, అందుకే చిరంజీవిని ఆహ్వానించి ఇక్కడ కూర్చోబెట్టారు అని నేను అనుకోవటం లేదు. ఇది రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారికి సినిమా పరిశ్రమ మీద ఉన్నటువంటి గౌరవం, సినిమాల ఇంపాక్ట్ ఈ సొసైటీలో ఎలాగ ఉంటుందో బాగా తెలిసిన వ్యక్తిగా వాళ్ళందరి తరపున ఒక వ్యక్తి ఉండాలి కాబట్టి చిరంజీవిని ఆహ్వానించారని మాత్రమే అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఈ రోజు నేను ఒక చిరంజీవిగా రాలేదు, చిత్ర పరిశ్రమ తరపున ఒక ఏజెంట్గా వాళ్ళ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్గా నేను ఈ రోజున వచ్చాను, ఇక్కడ ఆహ్వానించబడ్డాను. కాబట్టి దానికి ప్రత్యేకించి పరిశ్రమ తరపున శ్రీ రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారికి మనస్ఫూర్తిగా నా హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. సార్, మీకు గుర్తుంటే మీరు ప్రభుత్వం ఏర్పాటు చేసిన కొత్తల్లో మొదటి వారంలోనే ఎప్పుడో నేను మిమ్మల్ని అభినందించడానికి నేను వచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు నాతో అన్న మొట్టమొదటి మాట, ఈ హైదరాబాద్ని ఫిలిం హబ్గా చేయాలి. అదేదో ఒక తెలుగు ఇండస్ట్రీ వరకో లేకపోతే సౌత్ ఇండియన్ ఫిలిం ఇండస్ట్రీ వరకో లేకపోతే ఏ భారతీయ వరకో కాదు, గ్లోబల్ మనకి ఏమి తక్కువ అని, ఇక్కడ ఏ వనరులు తక్కువ అని చెప్పేసి, ఏ ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్ తక్కువ అని చెప్పేసి మనం ఎందుకు చేయలేకపోతున్నాం, ఎందుకు కొన్ని తెలుగు ఫిలిమ్స్ ఒక లాంగ్వేజ్కే మనం కన్ఫైన్డ్ అయ్యాం. కాబట్టి నా ఉద్దేశంలో ఇది గ్లోబల్గా అన్ని రకాల ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఇతర లాంగ్వేజ్ నుంచి సినిమా వాళ్ళు ఇక్కడ రావాలి, ఇక్కడ షూటింగ్ చేసుకోవాలి, అది నా ధ్యేయం అని అన్నప్పుడు చాలా ధైర్యంగా మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. చాలా అది నిజం కుదురుతుందా? ఎక్కడి నుంచో ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి వచ్చి ఇక్కడ షూటింగ్ చేయటం అన్నది, నేను మినిస్టర్గా, నేను టూరిజం మినిస్టర్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఫిలిం టూరిజంగా ఇక్కడ ఎంతోమంది ఆహ్వానించడానికి ఎంతో శ్రమ పడ్డాం, ఎంతో కష్టించాం. కానీ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి అట్మాస్ఫియర్ కానీ ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్ కానీ ఆయా గవర్నమెంట్లు అంత లేకుండా ఉండటంతో అది అంత పూర్తిగా సఫలీకృతం కాలేకపోయాం. ఆ ఉద్దేశంతో నేను ఎంతో కొంచెం స్కెప్టికల్గానే ఉన్నాను. ఎంతవరకు కుదురుతుంది, ఈయన డ్రీమ్ సక్సెస్ చేయగలరా అని అనుకుంటూ, మీరు ఏమైనా చేయండి, మీ గైడెన్స్ ఇవ్వండి, మీరు ఏం చెప్తే దాన్ని ఫాలో అవడానికి మేమందరం రెడీగా ఉన్నామని ఒక మాట ఇచ్చి మాత్రం అన్నాను. కానీ విత్ ఇన్ నో టైం ఇంత పెద్ద ఎత్తున ఈయన అన్ని రకాల సెక్టార్స్ వాళ్ళని ఇన్వైట్ చేయటి, గ్లోబల్గా అందరినీ వెల్కమ్ చేసి ఈ రోజున అందులో ఒక పార్ట్గా సినిమాలను కూడా ఆయన వెల్కమ్ చేస్తున్నారంటే కనుక అది హ్యాట్స్ ఆఫ్. అది ఆయన ఒక్కరి వల్లే అయ్యింది. అన్నట్టుగా కాకుండా అన్నది సాధ్యం చేసేలాగా ప్రాక్టికల్గా ఈ రోజు మనందరం చూస్తున్నాము. ఇది చాలు, డెఫినెట్గా ఆయన అనుకున్నది సాధిస్తారనే ప్రగాఢమైన నమ్మకం నాకు ఏర్పడింది. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన అన్నది హైదరాబాద్ అనేది సెంట్రల్ లొకేటెడ్ మన కంట్రీలో. ఏ ఇతర ఇంపార్టెంట్ సిటీస్కి వెళ్ళాలని సరే 1 అవర్ డిస్టెన్స్లోనే ఉంది. మేబీ ఢిల్లీ ఇంకొక 1 అవర్ పడుతుందేమో తప్ప. అండ్ ఇక్కడ లేని లొకేషన్స్ ఎక్కడ లేవు, ఎక్కడ లేకుండా పోలేదు. మనకు మంచు కొండలు ఉన్నాయి, థార్ డెజర్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అడవులు ఉన్నాయి, వర్షాలు పడేవి ఉన్నాయి, లాంగెస్ట్ బీచ్లు మనకు ఉన్నాయి. ఏమి తక్కువ, ఏ లొకేషన్స్ తక్కువ, ఏ వనరులు తక్కువ. ఇక్కడ పని చేయడానికి వాళ్ళకి స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ చేయగలిగితే కనుక పని చేయడానికి ఎంతోమంది ముందుకు వచ్చి సినిమా పరిశ్రమ ద్వారా ఉపయోగపడి వాళ్ళ కుటుంబాలకు వాళ్ళు ఉపయోగించుకుంటారు. ఇది ఆ పొటెన్షియల్ పూర్తిగా ట్యాప్ చేయలేదన్న మాట వాస్తవం. వారు అది నేను అంగీకరిస్తూ మా సలహాల కోసంగా ఆయన కొన్ని సెమినార్లు ఫ్యూచర్లో నడిపిస్తామన్నారు. ఇప్పుడు కూడా అలాంటి చిన్న సెమినార్లు మా పెద్దల మధ్య, సినిమా పెద్దల మధ్య జరిగింది. అయితే ఇది కాంప్రహెన్సివ్గా కన్సాలిడేట్గా జరిగేలాగా విత్ ఇన్ షార్ట్ టైం మేము అందరూ కూడా ముందుకు వస్తాము. ఇక్కడ ప్రపంచానికే ఇది అద్భుతమైనటువంటి సినిమా హబ్గా హైదరాబాద్ని చేయటంలో మేమందరం ముందుంటాము. అండ్ ఈ రోజున చూస్తే కనుక బాలీవుడ్ నుంచి సల్మాన్ ఖాన్, అజయ్ దేవ్గన్లు వచ్చి ఇక్కడ మేము స్మార్ట్ డిజిటల్గా కానీ అడ్వాన్స్డ్ ఫ్యూచరిస్టిక్ స్టూడియోస్ని మేము ఇక్కడ పెడతామని అంటాం అన్నది ఇది శుభారంభం. ఇదే ఇన్స్పిరేషన్గా నేను కానీ, నాగార్జున కానీ, వెంకటేష్ కానీ, ఇతర హీరోలు కానీ, ఇతర ప్రొడ్యూసర్స్, నిర్మాతలు ఎంతోమంది ఈరోజు నీకు ఉన్నారు ఈ సభ్యుకుల్లో. వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ముందుకొచ్చి చేయాలన్న ఒక కుతూహలం కానివ్వండి, అది పూర్తిగా ఛార్జ్ అయి ఉన్నారంటే ఎలాంటి అతిశయోక్తి లేదు. అండ్ ఈ రోజున ప్రపంచపరంగా చూస్తే సినిమా ప్రభావం ఎంత ఉంటుంది, ఈ సాఫ్ట్ పవర్ ఎంత ఉంటుందన్నది నేషనల్ వైడ్గా కూడా కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం కూడా వేవ్స్ అనేది ఒకటి ప్రారంభించి అందులో మమ్మల్ని అందరూ కూడా పార్ట్ చేశారు. అంటే ఎకనామికల్గా అది ఎంత పవర్ ఇస్తుంది, మన కంట్రీ జీడిపికి ఎంత కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుందో అనడానికి బాగా వాళ్ళందరికీ తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు కాబట్టి సినిమా మీద అంత దృష్టి పెట్టారు. సినిమాని కేవలం పేరు తీసుకురావడమే కాకుండా ఎంతో కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది, ఎంతోమందికి ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ జనరేట్ చేస్తుంది, ఎంతోమందికి ఉపాధి కల్పిస్తుంది. అంటే ఉదాహరణకి కొరియా తీసుకుంటే కనుక కొరియాలో బిగినింగ్ ఇనీషియల్గా వాళ్ళందరూ యూత్ అనేవాళ్ళు నైట్ ఈవినింగ్ అయ్యేసరికి చాలా పక్కదారులు పడుతున్నారు, కొన్ని వ్యసనాలకి లోనవుతున్నారు. ఆ రకంగా యూత్ నిర్వీర్యమైపోతుంది. ఏం చేయాలంటాం వాళ్ళందరూ కలిపి వీళ్ళని ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ వైపు కనుక మనం డైవర్ట్ చేయగలిగితే, బీ ఇట్ ఈస్ మ్యూజిక్, బీ ఇట్ ఈస్ సింగింగ్ ఆర్ ఫిలిమ్స్, ఇంకోటి ఇవన్నీ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్గా చేయగలిగితే కనుక వాళ్ళు ఆక్యుపై అయి ఉంటారు. తద్వారా వాళ్ళు ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇవ్వగలుగుతుంటారు. వాళ్ళందరూ నిష్ణాతులయ్యి వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీకి వాళ్ళు బాసటగా ఉంటారు. తద్వారా వాళ్ళ నుంచి జనరేట్ అయ్యి ఎంతో కొంత వాళ్ళు క్రైమ్ వైపు వెళ్లకుండా ఉంటారు. ఆ రకంగా క్రైమ్ రేట్ తగ్గించుకోవచ్చు అనే భావంతో కొరియన్ గవర్నమెంట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసింది. కానీ ఈ రోజున ప్రపంచపరంగా కొరియా కే పాప్, కే డ్రామా, కే మ్యూజిక్ అంటూ కొరియన్ వాళ్ళ ఎకానమీ, వాళ్ళ జీడిపికి ఎంతో కొంత కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది. ఎన్నో బిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ డాలర్స్ కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది ఈ యొక్క సాఫ్ట్ పవర్ మ్యూజిక్ అన్నది. అలాగే జపాన్ కూడా యానిమే అని చెప్పేసి వాళ్ళు కూడా వాళ్ళ సాఫ్ట్వేర్, వాళ్ళ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ సంబంధించి ఈ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ యానిమేటెడ్ ఫిలిమ్స్ కూడా ఎంతో కొంత కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది. అలాగా మీరు ఈ సినిమా ఇండస్ట్రీ మీద, సినిమా పరిశ్రమ మీద ఆల్ ఇండియా లెవెల్లోనూ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ లెవెల్లోనూ ఇక్కడ కనుక వెల్కమ్ చేయగలిగి వాళ్ళకి కావాల్సిన ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ కనుక మీరు ఇక్కడ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయగలిగితే, చేస్తానికి మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అయి ఉన్నారు. చేయగలిగితే కాదు, చేస్తున్నారు. దానికి మా నుంచి పార్టిసిపేషన్ కావాలి. ఉదాహరణకి బట్టి గారు నిన్న అన్నారు. సో మనకు ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు మీ అందరికీ కూడాను ఇక్కడ ఏమి కావాలి, ఎలాంటి ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ కావాలి, ఏ రకమైన వసతులు ఏర్పాటు చేయాలి అని చెప్పండి అన్నప్పుడు నాకు వెంటనే స్పాంటైనియస్గా తోచింది. నేను వారితో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తాను. ఇక్కడ స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కోసంగా మనం కొన్ని ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ పెట్టాలి. అది డ్రైవర్ల దగ్గర నుంచి, మేకప్ మెన్ల దగ్గర నుంచి, కాస్ట్యూమర్స్ దగ్గర నుంచి, ఒక ఎడిటింగ్ దగ్గర నుంచి, సౌండ్ సిస్టమ్ దగ్గర నుంచి, కెమెరామెన్లు, డిఓపీలు అండ్ యాక్టింగ్ సంబంధించిన స్కిల్స్ కానివ్వండి, అలాగే డైరెక్షన్ కానివ్వండి, వాట్ నాట్, ఎన్నో ఈ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఎన్నో శాఖలు ఉన్నాయి. ఆ శాఖల్లో ఎంతోమంది ఎంతూజియాస్టిక్ కుర్రవాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు చదువు ఒక మాదిరి చదువైనా సరే ఆ చదువు ఏం తెచ్చి పెడుతుంది అనుకుంటే కనుక, ఈ రోజున గొప్ప గొప్ప డైరెక్టర్స్ ఉన్నారు. ఈ రోజున ఇంటర్నేషనల్ లెవెల్కి మన సినిమాని తీసుకొస్తున్న డైరెక్టర్ వాళ్ళందరూ డిగ్రీ కూడా చదవలేదు. సో చదువు ఇది ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాదు, మీకున్న ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఆ ఇచ్చేటువంటి గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ తెలంగాణ ఈ రోజున మనకి ఇస్తున్న ఈ అవకాశాలను సద్వినియోగపరుచుకుని మీరందరూ కనుక రాగలిగి ముందుకు వచ్చి ఈ యొక్క ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ సంబంధించి వీళ్ళు ఇచ్చిన ఫెసిలిటీస్ని వినియోగించుకుంటూ స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ముందు చేసుకోగలిగితే కనుక మీరు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా సరే, వాళ్ళు ఎంతోమంది వెబ్ సిరీస్ తీస్తున్నారు, అలాగే టీవీ సీరియల్స్ తీస్తున్నారు, సినిమాలు తీస్తున్నారు, పెద్ద సినిమాలు తీస్తున్నారు, చిన్నవి తీస్తున్నారు. అలాగే ఈ రోజున కేవలం స్క్రీన్ మీదే కాకుండా మొబైల్కి సంబంధించినటువంటి సినిమాలు కూడా చాలామంది తీయటానికి రేటు సమాయత్తం అవుతున్నారు. ఇది ఫ్లిప్ అని ఇంటర్నేషనల్గా వస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడే మహేంద్ర గారు నాతో మాట్లాడుతూ ఈ వర్టికల్ సంబంధించిన ఫిలిమ్స్ 3 minutes నిడివి, అయితే 10 minutes, మ్యాక్సిమం 10 minutes నిడివి ఉన్నటువంటి సినిమాలు మనం చేయగలిగితే అది ప్రతి వాళ్ళ చేతుల్లో ఉండి అది వాళ్ళందరూ ఎంటర్టైన్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. దానివల్ల ఎంతో ఎకానమీ మనం డెవలప్ చేయొచ్చు, ఎంతోమందికి ఉద్యోగ అవకాశాలు ఇవ్వచ్చు. నేను దాన్ని ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తానంటూ మహేంద్ర గారు చెప్తూ వచ్చారు. సో ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఇది సాదాసీదాటువంటి కాదు. సినిమా ఏదో ఆడుతుంది, 2 రోజులు డబ్బులు తెచ్చి పెడుతుంది, వాళ్ళు ఏదో మిగుల్చుకుంటారు కోట్లు అంటే తేలిగ్గా చూడదు. దీని వెనకాల చూస్తే కనుక లక్షలాది మంది యూత్ ఈ అవకాశం సద్వినియోగపరుచుకుని అభివృద్ధిలోకి రావచ్చు, పేరు ప్రఖ్యాతులు సంపాదించవచ్చు. తద్వారా ఇన్ రిటర్న్ మీరు కూడా ఈ కంట్రీకి, మన తెలంగాణకి మీరు ఎంతో కొంత ఎకనామికల్గా మన గ్రోత్ అవడానికి ఆర్థికంగా కూడా మీ సపోర్టు లభిస్తుంది. ఇట్స్ మ్యూచువల్లీ రిసిప్రోకల్. కాబట్టి ఈ రోజున ఇక్కడ స్టూడియోకి స్థలాలు ఇస్తామంటున్నారు. స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్కి కావాల్సిన క్లాసెస్ కావాల్సిన ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ కనుక అధ్యాపకులు మనం తెచ్చుకుంటే వాళ్ళ ద్వారా ఎంతోమంది ట్రైనింగ్ ఇచ్చిన వాళ్ళం అవుతాము. ఇది సద్వినియోగపరచుకోండి. దీని మీద మన ఇండస్ట్రీలో పెద్దలు కూడా సీరియస్గా ఆలోచించండి. దీని మీద నేనైతే సీరియస్గా తీసుకున్నాను. వారితో అదే అన్నాను, మీరు ఒక సెమినార్ లాంటిదో లేకపోతే చిన్న క్లోజ్డ్గా మీరందరూ నాకు ఇన్వైట్ చేయగలిగితే కనుక ఇలాంటివి ఏమైనా సదస్సులు మాకు చిన్న ఎత్తులో సినిమాకు సంబంధించి మీరు చేయగలిగితే కనుక మేమందరూ దీన్ని మరింత ముందుకు తీసుకువెళ్ళి మీ కళ ఏదైతే ఉందో, మీ బ్రెయిన్ చైల్డ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్ళి ప్రపంచం మొత్తం ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ రంగానికి సంబంధించి ఈ తెలంగాణ వైపు, ఈ హైదరాబాద్ వైపు మనం చూసేలాగా చేయగలుగుతాం. చేస్తామన్న ధైర్యం నాకు ఉంది, భరోసా ఇస్తున్నాను. నా వంతు కృషి నేను చేస్తాను. నా ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చేందుకు ధన్యవాదాలు మా ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారికి, అలాగే ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి నా హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు మరొకసారి తెలియజేస్తున్నాను, ముగిస్తున్నాను. జై తెలంగాణ, జై హింద్.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. మీరు మాకు చెవులకు పట్టిన తుప్పును వదిలించారు తెలుగులో మాట్లాడి. ఇప్పుడు శ్రీ సుమన్ బెర్రీ గారు, శ్రీ వైస్ చైర్మన్ నీతి ఆయోగ్. I request sir to kindly address the gathering. Niti Aayog has helped us in drafting this document. Their team has guided us, sir. So now I request you to kindly address us, sir.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Honorable Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister. Um, First, it's not easy to follow perhaps the most charismatic actor in India, but I'll do my best. um, Sir, you are a member of my governing council, and the fact that you have requested me to be present here is a deep honor for me. It is also a reality that I had the privilege of calling on you and the Deputy Chief Minister soon after you took over, and I can see that you've been busy in the intervening time. So with your permission, I'll first look back uh, in order to look forward. Look back to the year of 2006, which is just about a quarter of a century ago, which was a visit to Hyderabad when the Asian Development Bank had its annual meeting in the new conference center. And there was a somewhat optimistic sign then that pointed to something called high-tech city, and there was nothing there. And there is something there, and my God, is there something there. So, um, you know, for people of the city, for people of the state, to believe in dreams, I think is entirely legitimate. But it is also, 2006, there was another annual meeting that took place, the annual meeting of the World Bank and IMF in Singapore, where indeed Raghuram Rajan, who've addressed us this evening, had just recently joined as the chief economist of the IMF. But I'm mentioning that because in 2006, two World Bank friends of mine, I had just come to NCAR, came out with this publication that talked of a middle income trap. Now, there's a lot of controversy about whether there is such a thing as a middle income trap or not, but one of those authors is now the chief economist of the World Bank, and he's come out with a World Development Report on the middle income trap. And why is that relevant to Telangana today? Just looking at Telangana's per capita income related to India's per capita income in dollar terms, and looking at the benchmarks that the World Bank puts out for lower middle income, upper middle income, and high income countries, Telangana is now an upper middle income country already. And so where India wishes to be in the next 5 or 7 years, upper middle income country status, you are already there. And the point there, Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, is that the issues that my friends raised with respect to the middle income trap start to apply. The old model of development may not work when you are in this zone, and things like creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship, uh, all of these become more as important or more important than investment. And so I think the fact that you have set yourself these high standards to be global is entirely appropriate, but the journey ahead is likely to be quite different from the journey that has brought Telangana to where it is at the moment. I also had 4 years of being the chief economist of Royal Dutch Shell, located in Europe, and that made me appreciate India's federal reality, which is that each state is very distinctive. And as I think about what's distinctive about Telangana, I've, I think it is its um, human resources, but in a somewhat unusual respect. I tend to think of the Telugus, and of course you share that with Andhra, as the Irish of India, people who are risk loving, people who are entrepreneurial. And so I think that that is amongst, above all else, the resource that you have to work with and to liberate. I would also say, and I'm picking up on the point that Arvind Subramaniam made, is that a focus on productivity it has to be paramount, because you can only be competitive if you're productive. And therefore, to focus on ease of doing business that Dr. Subbarao mentioned, the uh, deregulation or appropriate regulation, all of these things are going to be as important as bricks and mortar in the journey ahead. Let me finally make a point about your role and the role of political leadership. There is an academic by the name of Phelps at Columbia who talks about mass flourishing. And Honorable Prime Minister also very much believes that what will make India Viksit is self-confidence of the people and a belief that they can shape their own future. And so, Chief Minister, it is your role and the role of Sri Chiranjeevi to sell dreams to the young people of Telangana, to all of citizens of Telangana. So Niti has helped you articulate a vision, but for this vision to become a part of the software of the minds of citizens of Telangana, that's a job for you and the Deputy Chief Minister, and I wish you luck, and Niti is there to work with you as you wish. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. ఇప్పుడు అందరూ వేచి చూస్తున్నటువంటి సమయం ఆసన్నమైంది. గౌరవనీయులు రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రి వర్యులు శ్రీ రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారిని సభను ఉద్దేశించి ప్రసంగించవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
Telangana Rising 2047 Vision Document తెలంగాణ జాతికి అంకితం చేయాలన్న కార్యక్రమానికి ముఖ్య అతిథులుగా విచ్చేసిన సుమన్ బెర్రీ, నీతి ఆయోగ్ వైస్ చైర్మన్, ఆనంద్ మహేంద్ర, కార్పొరేట్ దిగ్గజం కార్తిక్ మురళీధరన్, దువ్వూరి సుబ్బారావు గారు, అరవింద్ సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం గారు, మిత్రులు పద్మభూషణ్ చిరంజీవి గారు, ఉప ముఖ్యమంత్రి వర్యులు మిత్రులు బట్టి విక్రమార్క గారు, సహచార మంత్రివర్గ సభ్యులు టోనీ బ్లేయర్, శంతను నారాయణ్, ప్రేమ్ శ్రీవాత్సవ్, ఇతర పెద్దలందరూ తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం సంకల్పించిన విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్లో మనల్ని ఎండార్స్ చేయడానికి, మన సంకల్పంలో భాగస్వామ్యం తీసుకోవడానికి విచ్చేసినందుకు 4 కోట్ల తెలంగాణ ప్రజల తరఫున వారికి మనస్ఫూర్తిగా అభినందనలు, కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. ఇందులో భాగంగానే ఐఎస్బి, నీతి ఆయోగ్, గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అఫీషియల్స్, స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ అఫీషియల్స్, తెలంగాణ ప్రజల నుంచి కూడా ఈ పాలసీ డాక్యుమెంట్లో సూచనలు ఇవ్వమంటే ఆన్లైన్లో దాదాపుగా 4 లక్షల మంది పాల్గొని వారి యొక్క సూచనల్ని, సలహాలను తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వానికి ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఈ సందర్భంగా తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రానికి, ఈ ప్రాంత మట్టికి ఒక గొప్ప చైతన్యం ఉన్నది. ఆ చైతన్యము ఒకనాడు జల్ జమీన్ జంగల్, కొమరం భీముడు ఆనాడు పోరాటం చేస్తే ఆ తర్వాత సాయుధ రైతాంగ పోరాటంలో భూమి కోసం, భుక్తి కోసం, విముక్తి కోసం, ఈ ప్రాంతం కోసం, ప్రజల కోసం, పేదరిక నిర్మూలన కోసం, ఈ భూమి మీద ఆధిపత్యం సాధించాలనుకున్న వాళ్ళకు వ్యతిరేకంగా వేలాది మంది పోరాటాలు చేసి నేల కొరిగిన చరిత్ర ఈ తెలంగాణ ప్రాంతానికి ఉన్నది. ఆ స్ఫూర్తితోనే తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ఏర్పాటు ప్రక్రియను శ్రీమతి సోనియా గాంధీ గారు, శ్రీ మన్మోహన్ సింగ్ గారు మన ఆకాంక్షల్ని నెరవేర్చిన, ప్రపంచంలోనే ఉన్నతంగా అభివృద్ధి సాధించగలిగిన శక్తి సామర్థ్యాలు మనకున్న, ఆశించినంత స్థాయిలో ప్రణాళికబద్ధమైన అభివృద్ధి జరగకపోవడం వల్ల ఈనాడు ప్రజలు ఆశిస్తున్న స్వేచ్ఛ, సామాజిక న్యాయం, సమానమైన అవకాశాల కోసం ఈ ప్రాంతం ఎదురు చూస్తున్నది. అందుకే ఈనాడు 4 కోట్ల తెలంగాణ ప్రజల యొక్క ఆకాంక్ష స్వేచ్ఛను, సామాజిక న్యాయాన్ని, సమానమైన అవకాశాలను అందించాలి అని తెలంగాణ రైజింగ్ 2047 విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ని ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకురావడం జరిగింది. 2047కు ఉన్న ప్రాధాన్యత, ఈ దేశానికి స్వతంత్రం వచ్చి 100 సంవత్సరాల విజయోత్సవాన్ని మనం నిర్వహించుకోబోతున్నాం. మరి ఆనాటికి మన దేశం ప్రపంచంలోనే ఒక గొప్ప బలమైన ఆర్థిక దేశంగా, ప్రపంచంలోనే 4వ ఆర్థిక అభివృద్ధి చెందిన దేశంగా అవతరించాలని భావిస్తున్నది. దానికి దేశ ప్రధానమంత్రి నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారు $30 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీని టార్గెట్గా పెట్టుకొని వికసిత్ భారత్ కార్యక్రమాన్ని తీసుకొని ముందుకు వెళ్తున్నారు. ఆ కార్యక్రమంలో తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ముందు బాగాన నిలబడి తెలంగాణ రైజింగ్ 2047కి $3 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీగా అవతరించాలని, ఈనాడు దేశ జనాభాలో మనం 2.9% ఉంటే మనం 5% ఎకానమీని, జీడిపిని కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఈనాడు మన ప్రణాళికల వల్ల, మన విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ వల్ల, మన భవిష్యత్ అభివృద్ధి కార్యక్రమాల వల్ల $3 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ 10% ఆఫ్ జీడిపిగా అవతరించాలని ఒక లక్ష్యంగా పెట్టుకొని మనం ముందుకు వెళ్తున్నాం. అందుకే ఈనాడు ఈ ఆలోచనను 4 గోడల మధ్యలో నలుగురం కూర్చొని మాట్లాడుకొని చర్చించుకొని తయారు చేసిన ఒక కాగితం కాదు. ఇది 4 కోట్ల ప్రజల మధ్యలో చర్చించి, ఈ ప్రాంతంతో సంబంధం ఉన్న ప్రపంచంలో రాణించిన వాళ్ళను అందరినీ ఇందులో భాగస్వాములను చేసి, ఇందులో మేధావులను, లేకపోతే కొద్దిమంది పరిమితమైన ఆర్థిక నిపుణులనే కాకుండా సామాన్యమైన ప్రజల్ని, రైతులని, మహిళల్ని, విద్యార్థులను కూడా భాగస్వాములను చేసి ఈరోజు ప్రజలకు ఈ పాలసీ డాక్యుమెంట్ను అంకితం చేయదలుచుకున్నాం. ఈరోజు ఈ పాలసీ డాక్యుమెంట్ ఈజ్ గోయింగ్ టు అడ్రస్ ఫార్మర్స్, ఉమెన్ అండ్ యూత్. మొట్టమొదటి ప్రధానమంత్రి పండిత్ జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ గారు ప్రధానమంత్రి బాధ్యత తీసుకోవడానికి ముందు మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారిని కలిసి మీరేమైనా సలహా ఇవ్వగలరా నాకు ప్రధానమంత్రిగా బాధ్యతలు చేపడుతున్నా అన్నప్పుడు మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు ఒక సూచన చేశారు. నువ్వు పరిపాలనాపరమైన నిర్ణయం తీసుకునేటప్పుడు నీ నిర్ణయం వల్ల పేదలకు నిస్సహాయులకు ఏ విధంగా సహాయపడగలుగుతో ఆలోచన చేసి నిర్ణయం తీసుకోమని మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు పండిత్ జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ మొట్టమొదటి ప్రధానమంత్రి గారికి సూచన చేశారు. ఆ సూచనలు తీసుకొని పండిత్ జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ గారు ఈ దేశంలో ఉన్న నిరక్షరాస్యతను నిర్మూలించాలి అంటే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఈ దేశంలో ఉన్న కరువును నిర్మూలించాలి, ఆకలిని తీర్చాలి అని అంటే ఇరిగేషన్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనుకున్నాడు. ఆనాడు ఫస్ట్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ హ్యాస్ డిసైడెడ్ టు టేక్ అప్ టూ పాలసీస్. One is education, the other one is irrigation. That is how he has initiated many universities in the country, and he has constructed many irrigation projects like Bakranangal to Nagarjuna Sagar, Srisailam, SRSP in Telangana. All these projects have constructed, have conceived at the time of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I know most of them have studied in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has initiated those universities. Today, my government has decided to take up this education and irrigation and communication. Communication in technology, communication in digital, communication in roads, communication in ports, communication in airports. We wanted to meet, we wanted to develop our infrastructure to connect as well world. We wanted to invite them to invest in my country. I'm going to take role model from China, Japan, Germany, South Korea and Singapore. At the same time, they are my role models and I'm going to compete with them. With their inspiration, I'm going to develop my state. I'm going to take up my welfare and development. Some of them, poverty is an excursion, some of the leaders, but have born and brought up a small village, remote village, where I have seen from my childhood poverty and undeveloped untouchability and everything I have seen. Practically I have experienced and everything. I know what is the problem. I wanted to address that problem. I wanted to eradicate poverty. I wanted to give education. I wanted to give employment with my youth. I wanted to give better health for my citizens. Why? Because I have met accident at the age of 11 years, major accident. My parents have taken me into Usmania Hospital in Hyderabad while I was living in remote village. That time government has, Nizam has started that Usmania Hospital. That is how they treated. Today, people are facing lot of problems. Well, we have got freedom. That time lifespan was 32 years. In 1947, Indian average lifespan was 32 years. Today we have reached 73 years. That is how Jawaharlal Nehru has given a vision to this country. Now we are going to touch 100 years to live our lifespan. For that, have to make policies, have to make sure, have to deliver to poorest of the poor, remote villages, Tandas, Gudam, or any other remote place in Telangana. आनंद जी, मैं एक किसान का लड़का हूँ, किसान परिवार से आया मैं. मुझे गरीब, कुछ लोगों के लिए, कुछ नेता लोगों के लिए गरीबी एक एक्सकर्शन है. गरीबी देखना है तो हैदराबाद से मर्सिडीज बेंज में छोटे गांव में देखे गरीब लोग कैसे रहते हैं, उन लोग देखने के लिए कोशिश करते. मगर मेरे लिए गरीबी ऐसा नहीं है. जहां पर गरीब लोग रहते, जहां पर जाति विवक्षा है, लोगों को अनटचेबिलिटी है, मंदिर में जिसको नहीं आने देता है, उस ऐसे छोटे गांव से मैं आया. हर चीज मुझे पता है. गरीब कैसे सोचते, एजुकेटेड अनएम्प्लॉयड यूथ क्या चाहता है, सब कुछ मुझे पता है. क्योंकि आई हैव स्टडीड इन गवर्नमेंट स्कूल, आई हैव नॉट स्टडीड इन कॉर्पोरेट स्कूल, आई हैव नॉट स्टडीड इन इंग्लिश मीडियम, आई हैव स्टडीड इन गवर्नमेंट स्कूल, I have studied in Telugu medium. I know each and every problem in my remote villages where Adivasis, where Dalits are living, where minorities are there. I have personal connectivity with these Dalits, Adivasis, and minorities. That is why I have planned for them. I have got this opportunity with young age. I don't have any political legacy. एक छोटा किसान परिवार से, एक छोटे गांव से मैं इतना दूर आ गया। 2006 में मैं एक जिला परिषद मेंबर बना एज ए इंडिपेंडेंट। Politically, it's the smallest of the small post. After that, I've become MLC. After that, I've become an MLA. After that, I've become an MP. After that, I've become a party president. After 17 years, I have become a chief minister of Telangana. I have responsibility. I have accountability. I have my commitment. I have to do justice for poorest of the poor. This is what my commitment. This is what my document, my policy document. This is what my agreement with my people. So that is why I have asked everyone to support, to give their inputs in my policy document. Lots of people who are experts, they have contributed like anything. I wanted to thank everyone. Why? Because this is going to create a path for my state, my youth. I have seen caste differences, jati vivaksha. सरकार इतने साल से कोई भी सरकार आप देखो, एससी हॉस्टल अलग है, एसटी हॉस्टल अलग है, ओबीसी हॉस्टल अलग है, माइनॉरिटी हॉस्टल अलग है। जहां पर आप जाति विवक्षा छोड़ना चाहते हैं, मगर वहीं पर सरकार पैसों से आप अलग अलग वर्टिकल्स बना रहे। इसीलिए मैं मुख्यमंत्री बनते ये कह दिया कि हमारे डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर से, भाई ये हमारे समस्या को हल नहीं करने वाला है, इसीलिए वो पूरा छोड़ दो। वी हैव टू क्रिएट ए place where SC, ST, BC, minority, all other upper caste people can study in one place. That is how we have conceived Young India integrated residential schools. I have given 100 schools. I'm spending each school 200 crores to develop that infrastructure with 25 acres campus. You know better than me how education is important. Now you are running a university. तो हम लोग ये सोचकर 25 एकड़ 200 करोड़ रुपए 20,000 crores I'm spending for build infrastructure to inclusiveness. SC, ST, BC, minority, all other upper caste people are going to study in one place. कि ये जाति विवक्षा हम दूर करना है तो सब लोग मिलजुल के एक जगह में पढ़े तो ये समस्या हल्का हो जाएंगे। मगर हर बार सरकार ने एससी हॉस्टल अलग, एसटी हॉस्टल अलग, ओबीसी माइनॉरिटी अलग अलग बनाए, तो जब तक आप ये सिस्टम से सरकार चलाएंगे आप दूर नहीं कर सकते। इसीलिए मैं सोचकर ये कह दिया कि भाई सब एक जगह में आना, हर असेंबली कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में एक रोल मॉडल बना दो। ये देश के लिए आगे ये रोल मॉडल बनने वाला है। लोग बोलेंगे कि भाई वेलफेयर में आप स्पेंड मत करो। वेलफेयर में हम स्पेंड करना जब लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड इक्वल आए तक हम देना जरूरी है, हमारा अकाउंटेबिलिटी है। तो इसीलिए आई एम स्पेंडिंग लॉट्स ऑफ मनी इन एजुकेशन। दिस इज नॉट वेलफेयर, दिस इज नॉट एक्सपेंडिचर फॉर मी, दिस इज इन्वेस्टमेंट माय फ्यूचर। आई एम गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट ऑन माय फ्यूचर। They are going to build like anything. They are going to make my Telangana #1 in India. My people are going to compete with South Korea, Japan, or Germany. And second thing, after education, he has initiated Jawaharlal Nehru ji, Sonia Gandhi ji, she has given Right to Education Act. Today, education is there, but I can say authentically from this dais, there is no quality in our education. There is no skill in our education system. That is why I have initiated Young India Integrated School. That is why I have initiated Young India Skills University headed by Anand Mahendra. Anand Mahendra is my Skills University chairperson. Proudly I can say Anand Mahendra is heading Telangana Young India Integrated, Young India Skills University. And also I have initiated Young India Sports University. We have 140 crore population. Unfortunately, or I'm sorry to say we have not getting single gold medal in Olympics. So that is why I've initiated Young India Sports University to get gold medals in Olympics. So all these plans for my poorest of the poor who are, they have confidence, they have given opportunity to work as a Chief Minister of Telangana at the young age. So that is why my plans for my poorest of the poor people. जिसने नेहरू जी को, जो महात्मा गांधी जी ने ये कहा, जब आप कुछ पॉलिसी बनाने वाले गरीब और जो जिनको समाज में कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है उन लोगों के भला के लिए जो पॉलिसी बनाना है, आप याद करो, डिसीजन लो. आज मैं वही हमारा पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट में मैं इतना ही सोचा, अगर ये पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट आगे ये जाति विवक्त गरीबी हटाने के लिए इन लोगों को एजुकेशन, हेल्थ एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट देने के लिए ये पॉलिसी आगे काम पे आ जाएंगे. आप लोग इतना दूर से आकर हमें मदद दिए, आगे हमारा तेलंगाना राइजिंग में आप लोग साथ देना है. साथ देने के लिए इतने दूर से आए, मैं धन्यवाद कहना चाहता हूँ सही दिल से. धन्यवाद.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. మీ స్ఫూర్తిదాయకమైనటువంటి ఉపన్యాసానికి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, ప్రసంగానికి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, ఇప్పుడు తెలంగాణ రైజింగ్ విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ను 2047 రిలీజ్ కార్యక్రమం ఉంటుంది. ముందుగా తెలంగాణకు తగ్గట్టుగా, ఫ్యూచర్కు తగ్గట్టు
చెప్పినట్టు మన సాంకేతిక ప్రతిభకు, నైపుణ్యాన్ని మెరుగుపెట్టే తెలంగాణ యువతకు ఆనందాన్ని ఇచ్చే దృశ్యం. మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు, కళాకారులు, రసజ్ఞులు పెద్దలే కాదు, రోబోలు కూడా చప్పట్లు కొడితే మళ్ళీ మీకు వచ్చి థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్తాయి, షేక్ హ్యాండ్ కూడా ఇస్తాయి. బహుశా 2 రోజులుగా మీరు చూస్తున్నారు, రోబో కూడా మిమ్మల్ని ఆహ్వానిస్తోంది, అభినందిస్తోంది ఈ ప్రాంగణంలో. సో థ్యాంక్స్ టు ది, కుడోస్ టు ది టెక్నాలజీ. Telangana Rising 2047. ఇది ఉత్తేజంతో, సమాజం పట్ల ప్రేమతో, భవిష్యత్తు పట్ల విశ్వాసంతో చేస్తున్న ప్రకటన మాత్రమే కాదు, నా తెలంగాణను నాటి కవి చెప్పిన కోటి రతనాల వీణగా ప్రపంచంలోనే ముందుంచేందుకు చేస్తున్న ప్రతిజ్ఞ అన్నారు ఆనరబుల్ సీఎం గారు, ఆనరబుల్ డిప్యూటీ సీఎం గారు అనేక వేదికలపై. మరి మీ అందరి ఆశీస్సులు కరతాళ ధ్వనుల రూపంలో తెలంగాణకు అందించాలని కోరుతుంది వేదిక సవినయంగా, సప్రేమగా.
Yeah. Now felicitation to the honorable guests. Okay.
Felicitation. ఆత్మీయంగా, గౌరవంగా వేంచేసిన అతిథులకు మనందరి పక్షాన ప్రభుత్వం అందజేస్తున్న సన్మానం.
ముందుగా గౌరవనీయ ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారిని శ్రీ ఆనంద్ మహేంద్ర గారికి థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. శ్రీ దుబ్బూరి సుబ్బారావు గారికి, ప్రొఫెసర్ కార్తీక్ మురళీధరన్ గారికి, శ్రీ అరవింద్ సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం గారికి,
సవ్యసాచి ఘోష్ ఐఏఎస్ గారి వందన సమర్పణ అవుతూనే వాయు తెరగలపై వాహన విన్యాసం ఉంటుంది, డ్రోన్ షో.
శ్రీ సుమన్ బెర్రీ గారికి, శ్రీ చిరంజీవి గారికి,
టాలీవుడ్ మనదే, కోలీవుడ్ మనదే, బాలీవుడ్ మనదే, హాలీవుడ్ మనది కావాలన్న పిలిపించిన చిరంజీవి గారికి ప్రత్యేక ధన్యవాదాలు.
ఇప్పుడు వందన సమర్పణ శ్రీ సవ్యసాచి ఘోష్ గారు.
శ్రీ సవ్యసాచి ఘోష్ ఐఏఎస్ ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్తారు.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my pride, pleasure, and honor to propose a vote of thanks on this momentous occasion where the new, nascent, and young state of Telangana has unveiled its document 2047 for the world, for the state, and for the universe to acknowledge and appreciate. On this momentous occasion, when the new paradigm, the new model of development as conceived and developed by our Honorable Chief Minister Sri Revanth Reddy Garu of cure, pure and rare will usher in an era where development will find a new meaning. I take this occasion to thank Sri Anand Mahindra, Sri Raghuram Rajan Garu, Sri Suman Berry, Sri Duvuri Subbarao, Sri Bhatti Vikramarkalu Garu, Sri Shantanu Narayan, Sri Prem Vatsa, Professor Karthik Murlidharan, Professor Arvind Subramaniam, Mr. Tony Blair, and our Honorable Chief Minister. I take this occasion to thank the Honorable Ministers, the Honorable Advisors, the Honorable MLAs, the Honorable MNCs, and the chairpersons of corporations, the members of media, the delegates, the participants, and the government officials, and colleagues of mine, and the event organizers who have made this event a grand success. I wish you a very good evening and a very sumptuous dinner for the evening. Thank you so much.
శ్రీ సవ్యసాచి ఘోష్ ఐఏఎస్ గారికి హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలతో ఇప్పుడు ఆసక్తిగా ఎదురు చూస్తున్న డ్రోన్ షో. పైలట్ లేకుండానే బుల్లి విమానాలు ఎగురుతాయి, వాయు తరంగాలపై వాహనాలు వివిధ దృశ్యాల్ని చిత్రీకరిస్తాయి. రిమోట్ ఇన్ హ్యాండ్, ప్రమోట్ ఇన్ ఎయిర్, డ్రోన్ షో. మీరంతా తింటూ మాటలు వింటూ ఆ డ్రోన్ షో దృశ్యాలు కంటూ ఎంజాయ్ చేయండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Good evening, esteemed guests, world leaders, innovators, and friends of Telangana. You stand at the confluence of global aspiration and technological mastery. Tonight, the sky above Hyderabad transforms into a canvas, brought to life by a fleet of 3,000 drones. This is the Telangana Rising Global Summit 2025, and this display is a dynamic blueprint for the next 2 decades of growth. This is the rise of a new India, the rise of a new global powerhouse. And by 2047, marking a century of Indian independence, our arrow points skyward, signaling the accelerated climb to a colossal $3 trillion economy. This is the scale of the Telangana Rising Vision.
మనోళ్ళందరికీ నమస్తే, శనార్థి రామ్ రామ్ సలాం. తెలంగాణ నాడు నేడు కోటి రతనాల వీణ గ్లోబల్ సమ్మిట్తో కోటి అవకాశాల ఖజానా. మన సంకల్పాన్ని మనోసంకల్పాన్ని సఫలం చేయమని తెలంగాణ తల్లిని ప్రార్థిద్దాం. కొత్త దారులను సద్వినియోగం చేసుకుందాం.
Our strategic growth is anchored by a three-zone policy structured by world-class infrastructure. Zone 1, the inner ring traced by the 160-kilometer Nehru Outer Ring Road, the core urban area of Hyderabad, a services-only cluster focused on the knowledge economy. Next, Zone 2, between the ORR and the 360-kilometer regional ring road. It's our dedicated manufacturing zone positioned as the global China Plus One alternative and built to power the skills economy. And Zone 3, outside the RRR, dedicated to agriculture and the green economy. This is a state organized for global leadership.
ప్రపంచ స్థాయి మౌలిక సదుపాయాలు, ప్రజాపాలన, ప్రభుత్వ ప్రాధాన్యాలు. నెహ్రూ ఔటర్ రింగ్ రోడ్, RRR.
Game Changer 2, the River Musi rejuvenation. We are a dry, withered riverbed. Watch us transform as water returns, life blooms, and the lights along the riverfront come alive. The entire environment transforms into a vibrant 24/7 living arena, pioneering the night economy. From a neglected stretch of land to a world-class riverfront that powers life, recreation, and community living.
తలాబ్కే నీళ్లుంటే తప్పెందుకైతుంది, ఉన్న నీళ్లు వాడుకుంటే తప్పెందుకైతుంది. సాగునీరు తాగునీరు అందరికీ తెలిసిందే. ఇప్పుడు మూసి పునరుజ్జీవనంతో ఇటు ఆరోగ్యం, అటు ఆనందం, పర్యాటకం, పర్యావరణం.
Game Changer 3, the metro rail expansion. To manage our unprecedented growth, we are exponentially expanding our urban backbone. From the existing metro network spanning 71 kilometers, we see the new corridors light up, revealing an expansion of over 160 kilometers. Game Changer 4, transforming connectivity. Bullet train corridors connecting Hyderabad to Bengaluru and Hyderabad to Chennai. And we are establishing a dry port with a 12-lane greenfield expressway connecting us seamlessly to the AP seaport. Simple, bold, and futuristic trade routes for a globalized economy.
వివిధ రకాల అనుసంధానం. వాయు మార్గం, జల మార్గం, రోడ్డు మార్గం. మార్గం ఏదైనా అందరినీ కలిపేది. వేగంగా, తేజంగా, ధీమంతమై, రేవంతమై సాగుతోంది కమ్యూనికేషన్.
Game Changer 5, solidifying the manufacturing zone between the ORR and RRR as the world's trusted China Plus One alternative.